Zondo Commission of Inquiry into state capture will hear evidence related to Bosasa today. Personal Assistant to former Environmental Affairs Minister Nomvula Mokonyane, Sandy Thomas, will testify before the Commission today. The Commission has heard from contradicting evidence from Mokonyane and former Bosasa boss Angelo Agrizzi over claims that the company paid Mokonyane and hosted lavish parties for her birthday. Newzroom Afrika reporter Tumaole Mohlaoli joins us now in studio to unpack this story. Tumaole, very good morning to you.
Very good morning.
We heard the Bosasa-related testimony last week from former Bosasa employee Bongiwe Dube, who headed up the kitchen, and saying that she was in charge of orders during the December period. And she gave a lot of detail on how she was unaware of a massive order of chicken and food, yet she headed up the kitchen. And then she went on to explain that how she learnt about who this food was going to at a very late stage. But she headed up the kitchen and had no idea. So as we look to Bosasa-related testimony today, what are we expecting to hear, given what we heard last week also from the guest house owner who hosted that lavish 40th birthday party in 2003?
Yes, absolutely. From Ms. Thomas's evidence this week, or this morning rather, we are expected to hear more details corroborating that story. You would remember that when former Environmental Affairs Minister Nomvula Mokonyane appeared before Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, she basically poured cold water over Angelo Agrizzi, former Bosasa boss's earlier evidence to the Commission, basically saying that she received lavish gifts, including catering and including payments in the form of various deposits directly to her from Bosasa. Now, what this PA will then basically speak to is the issue of trying to put Mokonyane's diary and seeing whether Agrizzi's evidence linking Mokonyane to various events hosted by Bosasa on her behalf are actually true or not. And Ms. Thomas's evidence today is highly anticipated by the fact that when she was expected to appear last time, she arrived late, much to basically the anger of Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, who is under pressure, as he has so often alluded to complete the Commission's work on time, saying that the Commission can ill afford to have more extensions. So she will speak to the various appointments as the personal assistant to former Environmental Affairs Minister Nomvula Mokonyane. She would have intimate knowledge about where she went, diary entries about who she would have met in relation to Bosasa and Angelo Agrizzi's evidence.
Now, as we try and make sense of everything that Agrizzi has spoken about, because he's made some explosive allegations at that commission about racketeering, about corruption and the money laundering that took place, we go back to the lavish birthday party that was held at that guest house, where the owner of the guest house confirmed that Nomvula Mokonyane was there. In fact, he says he was personally introduced to her.
Yes, he says he was personally introduced to her by Angelo Agrizzi. Now, this particular testimony then squarely puts Agrizzi at the same venue at the same time with the former Environmental Affairs Minister. Now, this would contradict her testimony before the Commission to basically state that she at no point was thrown any party, any lavish activities or parties or events by Bosasa in any way. So this personal assistant's testimony will then seek to corroborate whether this indeed did happen, because she would have intimate knowledge of the former Environmental Affairs Minister's diary entries and travel and appointments. So this is what the Commission is trying to establish. You would note that with the Commission, they have taken great care in terms of trying to find out the various layers of events and the testimonies of those who would have been intimately involved in such events. Not only speaking to the principals, by the principals I mean those who are accused of having either been captured or being allegedly corrupted, and those who allegedly did the corrupting in the whole state capture project. So these particular individuals will then cross the T's and dot the I's in terms of connecting the various times and places which are very important in this particular evidence.
As we look to some of the information that Agrizzi revealed on money laundering, and we go back to what former Environmental Affairs Minister Mokonyane said about some of the money she was asked about money that was going into her home, and if I recall correctly, she said that she didn't know of any money. Maybe those transactions happened when she wasn't home, but she was unaware of that. How important is that discussion on the money that went into her home?
Yes, absolutely. This would speak to the issue of the allegations that Bosasa, which was a beneficiary of large government contracts, especially when it comes to the correctional services side of things in terms of food contracts and other sort of maintenance and other services provided by Bosasa to government, that these particular presents, gifts and maintenance kind of issues would speak to a very undue relationship between those in state and those in the business sector, which is what the State Capture Commission is seeking to basically unpack and unravel, whether indeed those who received gifts or received any undue payments and services, including maintenance and things like that, were then unduly influenced to issue such contracts to companies like Bosasa, who are at the center of the Commission of Inquiry into state capture, to see whether they would have had an undue or corrupt relationship with those who make decisions at the helm of the state.
Absolutely. Let's leave it there for now. Our reporter Tumaole Mohlaoli, following the developments at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, Bosasa-related testimony to continue being heard, with the PA of former Environmental Affairs Minister Nomvula Mokonyane taking to the stand today.